Coming up, a Floyd County murder suspect is now behind bars.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin tonight with a developing story out of Floyd County. A murder suspect is now behind bars. The Floyd County Sheriff's Department posted on Facebook that 41-year-old Michael Colley was arrested tonight. He was taken to the Floyd County Detention Center. Police say they were called to a home Sunday on Route 680 in the McDowell community. They say a physical altercation between Colley and 53-year-old Patrick Shepard turned deadly. Shepard was pronounced dead at the scene, and police say the cause of death is still under investigation. The trial of a London police officer's accused killer is set to start tomorrow in western Kentucky. Police say Casey Bird was drunk when he crashed into Sergeant Logan Medlock's cruiser in 2022. Medlock died. Bird faces multiple charges, including murder of a police officer, criminal mischief, and DUI. The trial is set to begin tomorrow morning in Bowling Green. It's expected to last 3 days. A 10-year-old girl is dead after a crash on Interstate 75 late Sunday night. Police say 43-year-old Michael Stout of Indiana was driving a Kia Sportage and hit a moped carrying two people, 31-year-old Darius Wade of Lexington and the young girl.
Last night at approximately 11:18 p.m., Kentucky State Police received a phone call from the Corbin Police Department requesting assistance on a traffic accident that had occurred on I-75 northbound around the 26-mile marker. They were requesting assistance because it was serious physical injuries. Troopers arrived on scene and started their investigation.
The two people on the moped were flown to UK Hospital, and it was there that the 10-year-old girl was pronounced dead. Her name was not released. Police say alcohol is suspected as a contributing factor.
Well, we had a hot start to the work week with temperatures in the low to mid 90s. That trend will continue for Tuesday. We made it to 90 in Hazard, 90 in Jackson, 90 in Manchester, as well as London. Somerset made it to 91, 89 was the high in Monticello, 90 in Jonesville, 95 in Louisville. And right now we're seeing temperatures in the 70s, even low 80s. Look at Jackson, 81, otherwise 70 in Hazard, 71 Manchester, Harlan's at 74, 75 in Somerset, 84 in Louisville, 80 in Lexington. But again, you feel that, take a look at the feels like temperature at the 11 o'clock hour in Louisville, 88 degrees, 84 in Lexington, 78 in Ashland, 70 in Hazard, 79 in Pikeville. All is quiet on live pinpoint Doppler radar. We are picking up the false returns on the radar beams. That's why you see a lot of green, but there's nothing going on this evening. It is quiet, and when you see temperatures in the 70s, it's going to make for a mild night. Look at 8 o'clock, 72, 87 as we go into the noon time frame. Now, coming up in the first alert forecast, we're going to tell you when we may see a little bit of a break from the heat, but I'll tell you this right now, the rain chances are very small. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris is closing in on her decision for a presidential running mate. The unofficial shortlist still includes Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who's speaking at a Harris event tonight in Chicago. This will be Harris's first big move since locking up the Democratic Party nomination following President Biden's historic decision to drop out of the presidential race. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
President Biden and Vice President Harris were briefed on the crisis in the Middle East Monday as she continued to mull over who should be her running mate. CBS News has learned Harris is expected to formally announce her pick Tuesday morning and release a video introducing voters to her choice.
I'm just who I am and put it out there.
On Sunday, Harris held meetings with the leading contenders at her Washington home. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
Anything on the Veep stakes yet?
I got nothing for you, man.
Following the decision, the newly minted ticket is expected to set out on a 7-state battleground tour beginning in Pennsylvania, where 19 electoral votes are up for grabs.
She's ultra-left, ultra-radical.
Earlier in the day, former President Donald Trump weighed in on the Veep stakes on a live stream interview with YouTuber Aiden Ross.
All of the people that she's looking at are considered much better than her. These were people that were thinking about running. They would have run.
Trump also dubbed Monday's stock market drop the Kamala crash, at least 5 times on Truth Social, a phrase he first started testing out last week.
If Harris wins this election, you will quickly have a Kamala economic crash.
3 months to the presidential election, a new CBS News poll finds Harris and Trump now essentially tied across the battleground states as well as nationally. Voters are still far more likely to say Trump's policies will leave them financially better off. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
It is still unclear when and if Harris and Trump will face off in a televised presidential debate. Trump says he's agreed to an offer from Fox News to debate Harris on September 4th, while the Harris campaign says it will stick to the original plan for an ABC News debate on September 10th. A sad update to a story we have followed since 2020. A Somerset woman has died after a lengthy cancer battle. We introduced you to Raina Simpson as she was battling stage 4 colon cancer. Simpson's cancer had spread to other parts of her body, but she had the support of her church and community who organized fundraisers to help the family. In 2021, we were there as she celebrated her cancer being gone. This is what she had to say at the time.
Nothing is meaningless. Every suffering, every time you are crying, every time that you are joyful, there is a reason and God will use it.
Raina Simpson died Saturday at the age of 37. Southern Oaks Funeral Home is handling her arrangements. The visitation will begin Thursday and continue Friday before the funeral service at 2 p.m. Friday, all at Grace Baptist Church in Somerset. A well-known Harlan County man that we profiled earlier this year on WYMT has died. Mike Obradovich died Friday at the age of 77. He was a former coal miner, historian, volunteer, and world traveler. He and his wife of 53 years created the Bulldog Room, which contained memorabilia from Lynch High School, which closed in 1981. His visitation is tomorrow at 1 at the Church of the Resurrection. The funeral will follow at 3. The family asks in lieu of flowers that donations be made to Christ's Hands in Harlan. The United States Economic Development Administration awarded Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR, approximately $40 million for regional economic development. The Eastern Kentucky Runway Recompete Plan, created by SOAR, is one of 6 plans to receive money. The goal is to give the economy a much-needed boost following the decline of the coal industry. Congressman Hal Rogers released a statement about this today saying, quote, "We have the best workforce in the country with individuals who take great pride in their skills. Given the work ethic of our region, this grant could be a game changer in the hands of SOAR, an organization already shaping a brighter future in Kentucky's Appalachian region. They are readily able to connect our people to the training and resources they need," end quote. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture, the Kentucky Hospital Association, and ARH are partnering to launch the Food is Medicine initiative. The main goal of the campaign is to show Kentuckians the power of food and its connection with a healthier life. Another major aspect is making access to locally grown food more widespread. The commissioner for the state's Ag Department, Jonathan Schell, says they have formed a task force that is finding ways to create that access.
That's how we're going to be able to find out how to do that, to get more local producers into local markets, whether it's a food city or whether it's a hospital or a school. Being able to get more local produce and protein inside of that's extremely important. I think that's how we increase, especially here in Eastern Kentucky, more farmers and more farming practices.
Other areas of the initiative include connecting hospitals with local growers, helping patients access resources for healthy foods, and creating outreach for patients with special diets. We have more about the campaign on our website at WYMT.com, and you can also see my Issues and Answers interview with Commissioner Schell there. Soon, school will be back in session here in Eastern Kentucky, hard to believe, with some beginning the new year later this week. Here's a list of some schools going back this week. Pikeville Independent starts their new school year on Thursday. Pike County schools will get classes going on Wednesday. Wolfe County also begins Wednesday, and Knox County begins Wednesday. We've compiled a list of start back dates over at WYMT.com. 2 years ago, staff members saved Eastern Kentucky University's football coach Walt Wells' life. Now he's teaching every player on his team to do the same. In a partnership with Baptist Health Richmond and the American Heart Association, they'll learn how to do chest compressions that can be done on anyone in need at any time. Grayson Passmore gives us a look at the CPR course players took tonight.
You know, a lot of it's a miracle by God, but the miracle also is that everybody that was involved in my survival did their job.
Instead of watching film Monday afternoon, the EKU football team is learning a skill that will prove valuable on and off the field. It's one that saved Coach Walt Wells' life 2 years ago.
Was fortunate to live through that experience. You know, they tell me I'm 1% of 1%.
Coach Wells had a heart attack in his office on August 28, 2022. He says he wouldn't be here today if his staff members weren't nearby.
And they performed CPR and slapped the AED on me, and after about 5 minutes got me back and you know, got me to the EMTs, and it was you know, several more times that had to be done.
Because of their quick action, Coach Wells doesn't have brain damage or loss of kidney function, and now he wants to make sure everyone on his team could do the same.
We're talking about a situation where someone comes along, finds Coach down, and just knows enough to push hard and fast on the center of the chest, and thank goodness he did, because Coach is still here today.
As a registered nurse, Michael Bailey explains to the players that anyone can do hands-only chest compressions.
Empowering someone to know that there is something they can do when that situation presents itself, that means a lot. Because as we were saying, anyone can do this.
In Richmond, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
And get this, Coach Wells said everything came full circle last May. He performed CPR on a friend and booster, saving that man's life after he collapsed while they were recruiting in Sarasota, Florida. Coming up, the latest on Tropical Storm Debbie, and FEMA opens a recovery center for people affected by storms earlier this year in our region.
And in the world of weather, we'll see temperatures in the 90s again tomorrow and Wednesday. But how long will that 90-degree heat last? I'll have the answer in a few minutes. Stay with us.